Hey, this is Gareth and Bruce. This is our first attempt at a podcast.
We just don't know where it's gonna go.
You got more of the gruff voice. I got more of the
Softer feminine voice.
screw you.
Hey.
I don't know, I felt a little snobby when we hit 10 episodes.
Okay, that's an interesting question.
The two of us can be Vin Diesel. Gareth can drive like him. And I can
You
look
can
like
look
him.
Welcome to Spaghetti Junction. My name is Gareth,
My name is Bruce.
and we talk about things. We just don't know where they're gonna go.
Hello and welcome to the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Bruce.
My name's Gareth.
We talk about things.
We just don't know where they're gonna go. I think before. Sorry, I just had this thought that we didn't talk about. It's a quick one.
Okay.
We were going to have our a guest on by like last week already,
Yes.
but then we took a week's break because, well, we've been doing this every single week and we didn't need it just to have a bit of decompression time. Then the doctor she's my sister, so she basically her time schedule was screwed up because last week she was one of her colleagues was sick from COVID, so she was called in. She was going to be on this one, but then the hospital messed up their roster and she has to go back in again. Following week after this episode, which we hope you're going to see her again, she has to pull her normal shift. So she's going to push for 4 weeks straight.
Ouch.
Life of a doctor.
Yeah.
So we'll get her when we get her.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah, it was going to be good. I was looking forward to it. There's a fly. I was looking forward to it too, but yeah, shame she's being put through a whole in this COVID time. Also, it's horrible. So yes, that's why you're seeing us without a guest.
What I was saying to Gareth a little earlier was we're discovering a lot about the Omicron variant and how it isn't actually as serious. So, but we think by the time we actually get her on the show, we'll have another variant that might be a little bit more serious, and
There's
we'll
a
be able
fly
to talk about it.
attacking your head.
I know
Sorry.
there is.
I'm just noticing it. And it won't look good on camera. Yes. So yeah. So when we'll see her when we see her, kind
That's
of thing.
it. Yeah.
We wish her well. Sheesh.
Yeah. So we are chatting today about.
Oh, you're going straight in.
Oh
I mean, I don't mind.
no.
I just thought we were going to talk about something a little extra before we go there. I mean, I know that we need to start into a topic reasonably fast. I agree with you on that one. But that was really fast.
That was quite. Maybe it was a little
No, it was okay.
premature.
Premature, thank you. Thank you very much. No, I was just going to... Oh, and even before... You'll see our new logo, which I want to thank my nephew for, one of my nephews, Joshua.
Yeah.
Joshua Zach.
Shout out to Josh.
JZ. Yeah, he did a fantastic representation of our...
I think he nailed it.
He did.
Yeah.
So that's who we are now. I was going to bring up that we've known this for quite a long time. I didn't want,
of course.
but I didn't want to talk about it until things actually looked pretty clear that it'll happen. It's still like a 80%, so it's not 100% yet.
Yeah.
I will know more about it early next year.
Yeah.
But 80% is that I'm planning to move back to New Zealand where I was born. I was born in Auckland. And lived in Whanganui, which is down the bottom of South Island.
Right.
And yeah, I've just been finding that my future here, with my lack of education, the age, the skin color, and it's not a racist thing. It's just
It's a reality.
that's the reality. Yeah. So it's not a race thing. It's just showing me that. It's just not. If I have another option that will be better for my future and better for my life, while look into it, and I did. And New Zealand is my plan of action.
Cool. Well, you know what? I must say. I mean, I've said this to a lot of people. If I had a different passport, I would have left South Africa a long time ago.
Yeah.
So if it can happen, and I really hope it does, then
thanks.
It's like I said, like I've said to you, it's a massive new adventure.
Yeah, totally.
It would be amazing. So living in a country like that, first world country, so like you say, so many more opportunities,
Yeah.
job wise, quality of life. You know,
Yeah.
it's a no brainer.
Yeah, I mean, they look after their own like exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I mean, to a point when you know, when you become a pensioner, they give you somewhere to stay. They pay you a pension. I mean, everything's covered.
Yeah.
So yeah, and plus, you know what? It's an adventure.
Yeah.
And I do like, you know, I really love, like, yeah, probably more love the country. It's just a beautiful country, and there's so yeah, it's an adventure, and we're still not sure how it's going to go for the podcast, but we were going to make it work.
Yeah, we're gonna see if
We'll-
we can.
We'll definitely make it work. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
exactly. And I mean, there when you quarantine, which is what we're going to be talking about.
We talk about it.
Thank you for that segue. There, it's not too hectic. I think you were saying it's like 7 days. I think it's a bit longer, but what you read was 7 days.
As far as according to the information that I've found,
Okay.
specifically in New Zealand, it's a 7-day quarantine.
Okay, 7-day quarantine. Okay. I thought it was longer with that. That's cool.
It seems like most people are put up in quite nice hotels.
Yeah, I don't know how good they are. I am aware that.
You know, some of the hotels are really nice. I'm
Are they
talking
nice?
like 4 or 5 star hotels
really?
and stuff. I don't know if that depends on a particular demographic of people or whatever, or if I haven't delved too much into that. But
Yeah.
but thank goodness it is only 7 days. It's that. Even that, I think, you're sitting in a hotel room for 7 days.
And you can't go out much. There's a set amount of time when you're allowed to go out onto a veranda area, which makes me think of all the hotel rooms.
Not all of them will have
I know.
balconies.
So basically, if you haven't got a veranda and you're really having a hard time, then just pretend you have a veranda as you walk out the window. Quarantine's over.
Wow.
Sorry.
Over permanently.
No. Yeah. But I know that if you are a citizen, and again, they look after the citizens there. If you're staying more than 90 days, then you don't pay for anything for the quarantine, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I actually had a look at some of the costs involved.
Yes, please do.
I'll just go through my notes here.
Yep.
Where did I find the charges? Oh, yes. If you do have to pay, if you're liable,
Yeah.
You're looking at 1,610 New Zealand dollars.
Damn.
And that's for like one adult, and then for an additional adult, so there's like 2 of you, it's an extra $460.
Okay.
And for any child included, so
you don't pay
no, $230
extra on top of that.
So like you got 2 kids.
If you're a family, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. And then the people who are coming in on a temporary entry visa.
Yeah.
So they're like, going somewhere else or whatever.
In and out, yeah.
They actually have to pay more. It's actually $2,760.
Holy crap.
So that's additional to your normal travel costs, and $805 for a child.
I'm impressed you've done this.
And the second adult is basically $1,500.
Wow.
So that's like over three grand for 2 adults, just to stay temporarily.
Yeah, it's pretty strict nowadays.
You're using New Zealand as a bit of a sort of a transit country to go somewhere else.
But at least with what I read up, New Zealand are actually doing it from what we can see. We don't know properly yet. But the research and the stuff that we know, they do it the proper way, in the sense of how it springs on the other side. That is a whole nother story. And you actually brought this up, and I was quite interested to know more about it. So go.
Yeah, New Zealand seems to be less extreme in their approach. It's like, cool, I understand quarantine, that's a responsible thing to do. Completely, that's fine. But they're like, there doesn't seem to be that, like, almost, I don't want to use the words fear mongering, but sometimes can get like that. You hear this extreme type of thing. It's like they're dealing with it a little bit more maybe rationally, I think.
Yeah.
So whereas in Australia have got some of the most stringent rules in the world, and they've really, I think they've doubled down on everything.
Yeah, I mean they
a little bit, almost too much. I
they
don't
have
know.
blocked. Yeah, look, I mean they when they had it and it was like very very hectic, they shut down intercountry travel. As in like, like the borders of these states were all
Yeah.
shut down.
Yes.
They were very, very extreme, and I think they've managed to get a lot of it. But there's also look. I mean, in every country there are an amount of people, anti-vaxxers.
Yes.
Within Australia, they've had marches and a whole bunch of big stuff going on because of how those things are so extreme.
Yes.
And that's just in that area.
Yeah.
And sorry, I just wanted to add that in, because if that's extreme, well, Howard Springs is a whole nother story.
Well, yeah, it's so for any of you who don't know, Howard Springs is it used to be a small mining
right.
town. It was set up for accommodation for miners.
Miners, yeah.
And what it's done now is they've renamed it a Center of National Resilience.
That doesn't sound in any way German or...
No, it doesn't, does it?
Center of what?
It is a Center of National Resilience, and it seems like these are what their facilities
or centers of national resilience
are going to be called, because there are others being set up in Australia.
That's right.
But Howard Springs seems to be the one that is the most in the news.
That's I think from the one I was reading, it's the first one.
Yeah.
And now they're seeing how this one goes, and there's one going. I think I read that there was one going up around the Perth area. There's a bunch of others around the country.
Yeah.
But this is their like mainstay basically.
Yeah. So this one's on the outskirts of Darwin.
Wow.
Come on, that was good.
Wasn't bad. I'll give it to you.
Listen, let me tell you something. Australian's easier to do than a New Zealand accent, so I'm not even going to try. It
is actually. No, you're right. I'll give you 10 points for that.
I'd like to see how you do getting your accent back.
Oy. Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so Howard Springs, it can at the moment I think only house about 850 people. But that is quite a lot.
Interesting enough, I read another article recently, and it says up to 2,000.
Wow, then they must have.
But I did see the website though, and it also said 850. Sorry, how many did you say?
I said 850.
Yeah, I think so. Let's just go with the 850. Okay. I want to see what I read, but I read something.
If you can find that, that's great.
But their website also said 850, so let's stick with 850.
Maybe the rest is...
2,000 sounds way too big.
Maybe the rest is underground bunkers. With like blast doors.
Hey. Cool.
And there, you talk about quarantine fees, because now the government, needs to recoup the costs of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Of putting you into a camp because they think you might be sick.
Well, you could.
You might be.
Yeah.
You're looking at $2,500 per person.
I read that.
Out of your own pocket. So the Australian government does not pay this.
And I actually think it's right. It's true. Is even if you are from Australia, I think you also have to pay. From what I could see. Yeah. I can't tell you exactly.
Yeah. So even if you're a citizen, yeah. And there's a family rate. So for two or more people is $5,000. So if you're two people, okay, it's obviously $2,500 per person. That's $5,000. But then even if you're like a family of 4 or 5, it's a bit of a reduced rate because you're still paying $5,000, but they're more people. So.
It's crazy.
But still, 5,000 Australian dollars is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then if you refuse to get tested, at the end of your stay, you have to stay for another 10 days. They keep you.
But why would you not want to get tested? Because that's dodgy, though. I'm sorry. If you don't want to get tested, then it probably proves that you have it. So fine.
Yeah.
Just stay in here for another 10 days, and we're going to charge you, and they charge you extra for that.
Yes.
1,000 something odd.
That would be $1,750 extra for those 10 days if you just decide to say no.
I just want to stay here in this beautiful metropolis of a camp. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just stupidity.
And
I would think. Sorry.
and then if a family refuses, that's an extra $3,500.
Yeah. In some way, to me, it makes sense. If you're going to refuse to get a test, it means that you are sick with COVID,
Yeah.
or you want to have your whole no one test me, I will not do that. Well, fine, we'll just
That's
charge
it.
you for being an idiot. Sorry.
It's like you're already in the camp.
Yeah, true. Do you want to actually stay in there for another 10 days?
And the thing is, they'll have been testing you in the camp. You're
Continuously, yeah.
You can be tested to a minimum of twice.
Yeah.
Up to a maximum about 4 times during your stay.
Yep.
So what's one more test at the end?
Exactly.
It's like, dude, just take the test and go. But
I agree. 100%.
What concerns me about a place like Howard Springs is the lack of moving around freedom that people have within the camp.
Well, okay, you bring in your point first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to counter that with other places like New Zealand.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Sorry. Fine.
This might be another example of how two people can disagree and still be friends.
Yes. Go away.
So you're basically only allowed out of your room or off your little balcony. So basically what these cabins... This veranda. The stoep, as we call it in South Africa.
Yeah, thank you. Because a balcony is something that's actually off a wall.
Yeah,
on a height.
Yeah.
So they don't have balconies there. They have verandas.
Verandas.
Thank you. Verandas.
Oh, boy. This is supposed to be serious.
You're right. You shouldn't have invited me. Should have left me alone.
I think you started this whole podcast thing. You invited me, dude.
Well, no, we're in it together.
I just work here.
True. Very true. Sorry. So, not off the veranda.
Yeah. So without a mask, and so you can't basically just decide, okay, cool, I'm just gonna go for a walk.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You are allowed to go to the laundry.
That's good.
You can go and, there's laundry facilities and stuff like that, but you have to be wearing your mask, and there's a set time that you go.
What can help you to get more exercise is you forget where the laundry is 5 times. You just, sorry, I can't find the laundry.
Yeah. I think they might cotton on to you after.
Yeah, probably about the second time.
And you... Now, this is something that not a lot of people actually mention, is that you do get some exercise time.
Okay.
But only 20 minutes a day. And you can get sessions at the swimming pool. But
sessions as in?
Just go and...
Oh, just to go and swim.
Just to go and swim.
Sorry, okay.
It's hot in that area. Only 45 minutes though.
Okay.
And that might only happen once. Or you might get lucky and go 3 times over 14 days or whatever like that. So it's not like you can just go whenever you like.
Yeah.
It's like this is your time,
sure.
on timetables and stuff like that.
Yep.
And they've even got on the at the steps on the top of your veranda, they've got a yellow line. It's like you don't cross that. Because if you're caught, it's firstly that you can get a written warning. And after that, it's a $5,000 fine.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hectic.
Yeah.
What I thought about was, okay, if you have different sections of the camp where people are known to be COVID positive, they're together.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then people who are known, maybe because according to this one girl whose video we've both watched, she was sent to the camp.
I'll put a post on that. You must just
put a link up to
remind me to I'll put a link on that.
Haley Hodgson. And she was sent to the camp because firstly, she had been in close contact with someone who had COVID.
Yeah.
But then also because she was so scared of this whole thing, she ended up first lying to the police
that
about
she had her
Yes.
That's right.
And then they checked up on her and said, you've told us
Correct.
you've told us a lie or whatever. And then she came clean and said, listen, I am sorry. I was flustered. I was afraid. I didn't know what to think. So I said, and they were like, oh, sorry, you got to go. And that's, I think, what freaked her out the most is that, listen, like, and then I think she also inquired saying, okay, if I test negative now, can I come home and I don't have to stay?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the next thing they told us, like, no, she tested negative, like, no, you still got to stay. And they put her in, it's like, pack a bag, you're going.
Yeah.
Which, that was a little, I think that might have been a bit of an extreme move. So, yeah.
Maybe their concern was that she was actually in touch with that person.
Yeah.
And that maybe she'll test negative now, but because she had been with somebody earlier who had the virus, it might come up another 3 days later. Maybe that was their thought process.
It was, and she was actually negative the entire time she was there.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure she really felt that bad. Yeah, she was completely negative the whole time. The whole time she wasn't happy. Carry on.
This is what I like.
I'm just here to bring
so flippin' quick.
light entertainment. That's why I'm here.
No word.
Carry on. It is serious, I know.
Yeah, and then she also got in trouble because she walked to a bin to put something in the bin without wearing a mask, and she got a written warning. And they said, if you don't sign this written warning, we're going to fine you $5,000.
What do you do?
And she's got it all on film and everything.
Yeah, so you have to sign it,
hectic, yeah.
Now, nothing like a pressure on you. Sign this piece of paper that may or may not put you in here longer.
Yeah.
Others are going to charge you.
Yeah, so it just... Yeah, I kind of... I say to Gareth, my spider senses start tingling.
The spider singles, yeah.
My spider singles, yes.
Yes, I know where you're going. That's fine.
My spider tingles start singling.
You need to see a doctor if that happens, pal. Carry on.
Yeah, because there is I feel that there's a bit of a sinister undertone to this whole like encampment thing. You know, first time I heard about it, like putting people in quarantine camps.
Yeah, it's
and that kind of thing. It's like
their wording is very interesting.
Yeah, and it's when you look at the Howard Springs sort of facility.
Yeah,
it's very clinical, and it's all. Yeah. So anyway.
In some ways, if the word I'm looking for is militant, in some ways.
Almost, yeah. When they start,
it's not over the top, but just the preciseness of everything and how they're doing it, and it runs the clock system. It seems like a background that there has to be something more in the back, more structured from some law. Well, obviously, I think it's linked with law enforcement in many ways.
Yeah, and I get concerned when I hear the words government-run facility. It's like,
well, it has to be run by the government, though. Who's going to run it, though?
It's
who's going to run it, though? I mean, I see where you're going. Yeah. At the same time, who's going to run it?
That's also true. He has a point.
Damn you!
He always has very good points.
I bring them when I have to. Sorry, it's a good point, but
maybe I just don't like government.
I think that's it, pal.
Maybe I'm just one of those power to the people kind of people. I don't know.
I think it's possible.
Anyway. What did you? So you said you were going to come at me with a couple of.
I'm not going to come at you.
It certainly sounded like that.
At least people in this Howard Springs, they can. This is right. He looks at me like, "You fucking say it."
This is Howard Springs. Oh, I just had to check. Yeah.
They at least can be outdoor for as long as they want.
Yeah.
They have a veranda. In
fresh air, the whole deal.
In a lot of the quarantining in other countries. For example, in New Zealand, because that's just one idea, on the other side of the Tasman, you are in a hotel, so I think it'll be nicer maybe, but you only have a certain amount of time on the actual veranda outdoors, or there's some form where you can go outside for a specific amount of time, a certain amount of people. I think it's like 20 minutes to half an hour. It's very small.
Well, remember, we had this discussion in one of our previous podcasts talking about... the South African lady who
yes, we
killed
did.
her kids.
Yes, Lauren Dickerson.
But that was after their quarantine period.
Yeah.
So So, but we
What are you saying? Where's that going?
We had a discussion about
the actual hotels and yes, on how it
period
works.
might have been.
Yes, it might have been a part to play in it. Yes, exactly.
It. Sitting. I mean, how many kids were there? 3 kids.
3 kids
in a hotel room. I mean, how do you keep kids entertained for 7 days?
Yeah.
I
think this was much longer, but anyways, carrying on. It was horrid. What is good about what I found interesting with the New Zealand side of things, they have a lot of people in the background. They even have people who you can talk about linked with your mental health.
Right, so counselors and all that kind of thing.
Psychologists, psychiatrists involved as well. Exactly. So you can, So basically, and then they check in with you once in a while as well. And what I saw with the Australian one is pretty much, this is it. Here's your food. If you're going to talk, we might fine you, and then they go. There's nothing. It doesn't seem as a very humanistic feel in the sense, how is your stay going? How are you feeling mentally? How are you, how are you doing? Basically, it doesn't seem to be that kind of like a two-way conversations there.
Okay.
From what I was reading up and watching that video, it seems to be very one-sided.
Okay.
Like if you talk, just don't ruffle our feathers, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Here's your food, gone.
Yeah.
So there may be in there, it just didn't come across as a very humane. But again, I just did very I searched and I couldn't find as much.
Yeah. Well, and what I was saying to Gareth as well was, what I find is very interesting is when you try and look up just online, just information in general about quarantine camps, there's not a huge amount of info out there.
No.
Not for any places in the world. And we know that other parts of the world are doing it.
Yeah.
Canada's doing it. We know Germany's doing it. We know all these places are doing it. But when you try and look up information, you can't find stuff. And that worries me a little bit.
100%.
So it's like, okay. So anyway, and most of the videos, if you just decide to do a search on YouTube, say like quarantine facility tour.
Okay.
Yeah, like guys will do video tours and stuff. They'll decide to put online.
Oh, just to show.
Yeah, they're filming like this is where I am. This is in quarantine. Blah blah blah. And most of them are from Howard Springs.
But from what I can understand, I don't think that they allow you to. I don't think there's an allowance for them to film, or is there?
No, there is. People are like these travel bloggers who are coming into Australia.
They film it.
They'll film the whole thing, and like, this is my experience.
Okay.
And they'll put it up on YouTube.
And it's fine with them there. Okay.
It's not like your phone's been taken away. There's perfectly good Wi-Fi. People have got their laptops, they can do whatever they like. They've got televisions. There's a lot of facilities to actually make your stay as comfortable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Food doesn't look too bad.
No, we saw pictures of it.
I think the one complaint was apparently the food gets a little repetitive. I'm like, you're still alive. Stop
duh.
complaining.
Exactly. There's not like a chef. All right, guys. Tomorrow I'm making a flambe. No.
But I could see after like 3 days, like, maybe if you've watched like every movie that's available, or you can only spend so much time on the Wi-Fi. You can only spend, there's after a while you're like, okay.
Well, that's quarantine in general.
Yeah. I can imagine it's tough, but for 2 weeks, that would be.
I know it sounds funny, but at least they have outdoors.
Yes. No, sure. I get you.
But sure, if I was there for a while and I just want to walk, well, you can't.
No, you stay on
you
your
walk
veranda.
to the laundromat. How about you dirty your clothes like every hour? Shit, guys, I'm really, really sorry. I just got new washing. I got to do more.
Go and like wash one item
one
at a
item.
time.
Hang it up. No, I'm good. That's all I got. 1 hour later, yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think you can do that because
they're clever.
They're like, they've got, it's like you've got a set 3 times to do laundry throughout those 2 weeks. So they've obviously set to a schedule and stuff like that. So
no, I know. They're way too clever for that.
I bet you someone's tried it.
Yeah.
I forgot the sock.
Yeah. His buddy's over there. I'm sorry. Don't break us apart.
I found these tidy whities stuck down the other bed. Then.
You want them? Do you want them? I thought not. Exactly. Take a walk.
walking along with him and holding them in a pair of tongs.
Yeah, exactly. I think they'll leave you alone.
Yeah, like the guy's probably happy he's wearing a hazmat suit. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. Sorry.
So yeah, South Africa.
Yep.
We don't have any sort of internment camps or anything like
No,
that.
we do not.
For any international visitors. International visitors here are just required to do I think it's a 10-day
I don't know.
self-isolation. Like, who polices that?
Exactly.
Oh wait, there's no police in South Africa. So, well, there's a few, but I mean, who's going to police?
Yeah.
Who's going to police that?
It makes sense if you put somebody into like an area where everything is at least kept under control.
Yeah.
But not to the extent of how it springs. It'll just be like like you're there, one test once in every few days, and when you're done you can leave, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The easier way.
I did have some other. Oh no, that was just about Hayley Hodgson and her experience.
Okay. I spoke with a friend of mine in Germany yesterday.
Yes.
And she was telling me that, which everybody will probably know when they read the news, because this is going to be, I wouldn't be old news, but it's on the way, is that Germany has now made a ruling that everybody has to be vaccinated. So basically, you have up till the end of March to be vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated fully, then to get into anything public space, and that can even mean your shopping and so forth. I don't know to the extreme. I don't know if it's shops, but I do know. Hey, don't give me that face. So you're focusing on me, not like when.
No, I am listening.
I know. Yeah, whatever. Is that basically people have been given up till the end of March to get the vaccine, because then doing things like work and so forth, you will not be allowed on the premises, etc., etc., etc.
I think.
And public things like sports and music and anything like that.
Yeah, I think people are still allowed to like buy groceries.
You would hope so, yes.
Like that. Yeah.
Yes, but in general, kind of like that's about it.
Sure.
So if you want to work, you either hopeful that you can work at home, but you don't get. I mean, even here though, there's a few banks which have now made it mandatory.
Yeah.
That you have to. I think with Netcare, which is where I'm at, I think it's also going to come into place in a few months' time, where if you're working but you don't have the vaccine, they won't let you in.
Sure.
Which again, we can probably say, well, that's human rights, and it's now being used against people because you haven't got a vaccine. Now you're like an outsider. Yeah.
Then it perpetuates that whole us and them type of thing.
It's difficult. I personally think it's safety of the other people in your work environment who have chosen to take the vaccine. So if you want to not get the vaccine, sure. But if there's a possibility of you bringing it in and infecting one or two other people, which then ripples through.
Yeah, it's such a fine line, because now we've got universities now, South African universities, that are also putting this in place. It's like, if you haven't been vaxxed, you're not coming into this university, that in itself flies in the face of our constitution. So it's like, we have this constitution,
which has
these human rights and stuff, and it doesn't everyone's got a right to education, everyone's got a right to everything, and
they have the right, but they can.
But now these.
But I understand though why it's doing it, because you have a population of youngsters in this huge vicinity, all squashed into one area.
Also true.
And that age group is also is less vaccinated than older people in this country.
Yeah.
So the higher percentage, so there is a bigger chance of catching the virus there than going into an old age home.
Also true.
Because the majority of people, obviously over 60, I actually read that the majority now over 60 have been vaccinated.
Okay.
But I can understand, because you're going into a hotbed, and if there's a whole bunch of people who aren't vaccinated, then what do? You find that one person in this class was infected, and now you got to track down every single person. They then went out for lunch. It's way less logistical stuff as well.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying,
But
though. You
do have a lot of people who are very.
I do
up in
understand,
arms
though,
about
what
it.
you're
So
saying.
It's like, because people are very, very much on like the human rights side of things. It's like, how far do you go and all of that kind of thing.
Well, the flip side, though, is human rights is to look after people. That's another human right.
That's it. So,
is
so
wellness and health.
Yeah. So you got the two sides of the same coin.
Human rights, both
So,
sides, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But we will definitely not have a Howard Springs here. That's a guarantee.
No, I hope not.
No.
Eskom would have to power it, and
That's actually
it's not
true.
going to happen.
That's actually very, very true. They couldn't cook the food. You couldn't watch TV.
You wouldn't have Wi-Fi.
You wouldn't have Wi-Fi.
Jeez, like.
You would go bonkers. I think in Howard Spring there were a few people who jumped the fence. They actually jumped the fence
And
from
then-
Howard Springs. And they
Yeah.
were caught,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to run from there with a big-ass bag? Like, you don't really have much running room to go.
I'm gonna be honest. When I first looked at the Howard Springs facility,
Yeah.
have you ever seen a movie called The Great Escape?
The old one?
Old one. Like
No,
when
I
they,
have
when
not.
they tunneled underneath.
No, I didn't
underneath
watch
the
that.
fence. Steve
No.
Steve McQueen.
Oh, Steve McQueen.
Steve
I know the
Charles
movie.
Bronson, great classic.
Wow. Okay, no.
classic movie.
I have to say I haven't seen it.
Oh, I can quote that script. I've watched the movie so often.
Yeah.
And they're in a German prisoner of war camp, and facilities are pretty good. We're like, we will all just sit out the war in relative comfort. That's
Yes.
what they wanted. It's like, no, we're digging. We're getting the hell out of here. And they did.
They dug. Okay.
Yeah. And it's based on a true story. The guys, they didn't jump the fence. They went underneath.
Yeah, it's a true story.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it kind of looked, looked a little bit like that. But
No, but that was just stupid of them.
I don't know.
And what do you think is going to happen? The cops say, well done. Take your bags. You can go home. Got a $4,000 fine. Picked up and thrown back in for the next week or so, I think.
Yeah,
So,
in Nazi Germany, you escaped enough time, you were taken out and you were shot.
That's right.
So let's hope that doesn't start happening here.
No, I think we'll be okay.
I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, we do. Thank you.
Closing statements? Closing thoughts?
For this one, I've made all my points in hilarity.
I think you have to.
Not all of them, but the majority of them. No, I don't really have many besides got to look on both sides of the fence.
I think so, yeah. And
Did you see what I just did?
yeah, no. As long as you haven't jumped the fence.
No. Just,
Because
or
be
you're
on
not
one
like in the middle of the fence.
yeah.
You got to choose either
that,
side.
That would be quite painful.
It would be actually.
If
You
you're,
have
sitting,
to,
if you're sitting on the fence.
spikes, yeah.
Ouch.
The spiggly spikely.
Possibly electric current. Zzz.
It could be fun. No, look at the bottom, at the end of this all. Yeah, you got to see both sides of the story, but as in like vaccinate or not vaccinate. I think Howard Springs does sound like it could get intensified, and if that same kind of facility is going to be replicated throughout.
It's a little concerning.
It could be interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
It could not. I don't think it's going to be a good thing,
Yeah.
unless they learn from what they've done there, and maybe they will be more livable, more enjoyable if they're not like out in a mining town.
That's also true.
Maybe it'll be
Yeah.
better.
Well, I suppose we just better just keep an eye on this situation,
Yeah.
as in so many other situations.
We've got so
happening in
many
the
that
world.
we're
My
keeping our
word.
eyes on with squint
We got content for days, man.
for days.
Anyway,
Thank you,
okay.
guys.
This has been the Spaghetti
Okay.
Junction podcast.
It has been.
My name is Bruce.
And my name is still Gareth.
And like, comment,
Comment.
subscribe, share, engage with us. We're getting some more engagement.
We're
in
getting
the
some people
comments.
talking to us, which is
So,
great.
Yeah. So
Thank
thank
you.
so much for that.
And I laughed because we had 31 subs, which was fantastic, by
Yes.
the way. Then after one of our topics, I'll go to which one it is. Let's just say it's a recent one on people holding hands. On that topic, LGBTQ, right, fine,
Yes.
whatever. One person said, I don't like you. I'm not sure if I like this topic. Goodbye.
and they unsubscribe.
They unsubscribed. But then, in your face, number 31, 2 more people said, I like you guys enough to say I'm your next subscribers.
Maybe one of them was the person who unsubscribed.
And you went,
And they
oh
felt
shit,
really bad,
I
and
made a
they're like,
mistake.
I made a mistake.
Well, you know what?
They're actually awesome.
Okay.
I'm coming back.
On the other side of the fence, he chose or she chose to say, I don't like you. It hurts when you unsubscribe. So I was like, oh, well, I don't know, dude. Maybe you shouldn't come back. So if you did unsubscribe and then subscribe, unsubscribe again, just so we can say if it's you or not. But thank you for the other two, or one, as in the case. At least we can thank one more person.
That's true.
So thank you at least one more person,
Welcome to the family.
possibly the second.
Awesome.
In for a great ride still. Thank you.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Goodbye.
Have a good one. Cheers, bye.
Ciao, ciao.